What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday. It's time for another mock draft Monday. Last week, we did a half PPR draft, 10-team league from the 10th overall spot, switching back to full PPR this week, back to a 12-team league. We'll randomize the spot, make sure it's not too close to pick 10. It's giving us 10. It's giving us 11. It's giving us 9. All right, we're just going to pick 3. There we go. We're also going to do a 3 wide receiver league that's growing in popularity a lot. It's one that I recommend if you don't want to go full 3 wide receiver. Try to transition your league to 2 flex spots, and then maybe you can kind of get them to do 3 wide receiver. But what that's going to do is it's going to make wide receivers very powerful. It's full PPR scoring. You can start 4 of them every week. Should push back running back and make wide receivers more important to us in the rankings. We won't change anything else. And we will make sure to put very high on here. And we want composite ADP. So for any of you doing drafts right now on Fantasy Pros, make sure you click composite ADP. That's going to get you better rankings. What I'm going to do very soon, why don't we actually just check this out? So they have rankings for like all the different sites. So I want to do some mock drafts based off of like ESPN, based off of Yahoo, NFL. Maybe, why don't we actually just do that today? I wanted to bring this up just to make sure that like they were legit, like they actually looked real. But honestly, ESPN doesn't look too, oh my goodness, what is this? Well, I don't know why Derrick Henry is at 4 on ESPN, but I don't know. I figured it might actually be a good idea to test those out and just see like what kind of draft could you actually get on ESPN right now. Why don't we do that? So we're still going to leave composite ADP here. I think it'll let us do both. So I think it's going to mix the composite with ESPN to kind of give us like a medium between there. And we're still going to tell it we want wide receivers to go high. But let's try this out and like see. And then obviously for the entire season, we're going to have quarterbacks and rookies on high because quarterbacks and rookies are going to go earlier than like systems are anticipating. So let's just see. Also, did they change the color coding on Fantasy Pros? They may have. Let's see how it looks. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, 1-2. That probably would happen. I would imagine McCaffrey would go number 3 overall if we are in a 3 wide receiver league. I would think Jefferson and Chase would go 1-2. So not too bad to start off with. Also, Derrick Henry is at 10. So I think that may be a little bit higher. So maybe it is sort of an average, but I feel like the composite ADP is taking over a little bit right there. But anyways, we don't have to talk about this one too much. I would go with Christian McCaffrey at that spot. I mean, we talked about last week on the Wednesday video. This week will be mid first round strategy in the Wednesday video. So that's picks like 5 through 8 when you're in this range. But we talked about last week when you're in this 1 through 4 spot, it's Jefferson, it's Chase. If you want to go with McCaffrey, that's fine. And then I would go probably honestly with Austin Eckler. And that was in 2 wide receiver leagues. For 3 wide receiver, it's maybe pushing wide receiver a little earlier. But the point is, what I talked about was we lean a little bit towards running back when it's close because we open up hero RB. So I now at least have the possibility. Maybe we won't do it because honestly, Saquon looks like an incredible pick right now. But we open up the possibility in this league for us to take McCaffrey with that first pick and then to go like wide receiver, quarterback after that and not feel bad because we have McCaffrey, he can take over. We don't really need that running back 2 spot filled. If we go with a wide receiver, it hurts us a little bit more, at least closing that potential door. Now, having said that, we look at the board right now. You guys know I don't really want quarterback in round 2. That becomes a round 3 thing. And even at that kind of turn, at that next pick, it's not amazing value. It's fine, but it's not amazing value. Also, we're at 3, so 4 picks are going to come off the board before us and the next one. Each of these teams are going to get 2 picks. So we're not going quarterback. And I've said round 2 is too early for Mark Andrews. So we're looking here. Saquon Barkley. Like, I think he's definitely going to play this season. He's not going to hold out. That's just not, it's not a thing that running backs can like, at this point, realistically think that they can do and it's going to work out in their favor. I don't think he's going to hold out. I think he's going to be a high-end running back, especially in full PPR format. So very much on our radar. He is the 15th ranked player in my 2 wide receiver rankings. It would move a little bit, but it would probably only move Olave and Waddle over him. He'd probably push back to like 17, 18. And we're at 22 right now, so that's a great pick. So definitely considering Saquon. Only other option would be our top-ranked wide receiver, which is T. Higgins. But I will say, if we're looking at drop-offs here, like I'm not going to get T. Higgins the next pick. It's pretty unlikely. But one, I guess there's a chance that happens. Number two, I mean, I like Keenan Allen. I like Amari Cooper. I don't know that I would go with Chris Godwin this early, but I like Deebo Samuel. Like I would be fine with those. Pretty unlikely we see 4 wide receivers come off the board. And I do think there's a drop-off from Saquon into Josh Jacobs, into Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson. They have a lot more questions in my eyes. I mean, even Jacobs has said he could hold out earlier. I think there's a better chance Jacobs holds out than I do Saquon holding out. I think there's a chance that, Dallas adds another running back. I think there's a chance the Patriots add another running back. Like, definitely risk factors with those players. Whereas Saquon, I don't see a world where he holds out. It makes no sense for him to do that. And they don't have anyone else on the roster. And to be able to start off McCaffrey and then Saquon is a pretty sweet start. So I think I'm going to do that. And we're just going to hope that, one of these high-end wide receivers is there in the next pick. It looks like they will be. Who did they take? They take quarterbacks? 2 quarterbacks go. So we see Mahomes go, then T. Higgins, unfortunately, then Jalen Hurts, and then Deebo Samuel, unfortunately. So we're sitting here, 303. Again, 3 wide receiver format. I'll pull up our roster over here. So the system's doing a fantastic job taking wide receiver early. This is probably what would happen in your league because you can start so many of them. We do not need to attack running back for a very long time. Theoretically, if we wanted to, and we wanted to assume Jacobs doesn't hold out, has the same role as last season, also dominates, and we wanted to grab McCaffrey, Saquon, and Jacobs, and then quite literally not draft another running back until like round, 14, 15, like just completely wait, grab a billion wide receivers, know that many of them won't work out, and that honestly at times it'll be difficult for us to figure out who to start, but that we're probably going to hit on multiple options. That is probably not the move that we should do, though. Our better option is probably just taking our top-ranked wide receiver, begin doing that, because if we wait too long, like at this next turn, that's a lot of picks that are going to go by before our next pick at 410. In a 3 wide receiver league, we can't abandon wide receiver for that long. And Jacobs would only be able to play in the flex. There's only one spot we can put him in. The only option, if that wasn't happening, was that one of our first 2 picks got hurt, which also hurts our team. So it's like the range of outcomes does include 3 running back ones and then hitting on wide receiver and dominating the league, but it is less likely than average that all of them dominate. We should grab a wide receiver. So our top-ranked wide receiver in a full PPR format is Keenan Allen, just ahead of Amari Cooper. And I'm actually behind consensus on Keenan Allen right now. And even being a little bit behind consensus, I have him ranked ahead in full PPR. So we make that pick. And then 1 million players are going to come off the board. Before we are picking at the 410 for quarterbacks, we see Jacobs, Burrow, Lamar. For tight ends, only Mark Andrews in the back half, the last pick, really, the 3rd round. Good amount of running backs. Jacobs, Gibbs, Pollard, Stevenson, Breece Hall, Najee, and Travis Etienne. And then wide receivers. Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson at 311, Judy, DJ Moore, Deontay at 408, and then we just miss Drake London, the pick before us. That is a tragedy. So, options. Fields, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. In a tier of their own, I would say Deshaun Watson is just at the end of that tier, but those are 4 quarterbacks we're going to want on our team. I feel like round 4 right now, probably not where we want to do it. Maybe we start considering that here, but also like both these teams took a quarterback. So for us to take a quarterback here wouldn't make any sense. I think we start looking at that at 503. Tight ends, Hawkinson, certainly an option for us. This is a full PPR format. He is a monster in full PPR leagues. I have him ranked 42nd. We are at pick 46. So not crazy value. But like he's a very good pick for us here. I think I would make that pick more though if we hadn't gone so heavy at running back. So say we already had 2 wide receivers, I might do it again. I don't want to push wide receiver too far off. because we can start 4 of them in this league. So I think the best move here is just to take our top ranked wide receiver, which is going to be surprisingly not Chris Godwin. I actually really thought Godwin would be the top ranked wide receiver, which has me thinking, do we hesitate? Because Godwin's likely going to, okay, let's pull up the draft board here. Godwin's the most likely wide receiver to be drafted because he's first by ADP. But if he's not my top ranked actually is Terry McLaurin, okay? So if we've got 2 teams that don't even have a running back yet, that already have 2 wide receivers, sure, they could go wide receiver. I don't think they're going to draft like 4 wide receivers. So we'll be fine if they draft Godwin because that's not who we would take at this pick. I don't think they're going to dip into that next tier. I feel like we would see Hawkinson go off the board. I think we would see Aaron Jones and Mixon go off the board, and then 1 wide receiver. So maybe there's a world I can go like Hawkinson, then McLaurin, and then quarterback in the next round. And I feel like I should try and do that. The problem is if that doesn't happen, I'd still get Christian Kirk though, and that would still be fine. So I feel like I should risk it. Because if I take McLaurin here, I really think Hawkinson's gone. I think these running backs are gone. And it would basically be, would I rather McLaurin and Christian Kirk or like potentially Hawkinson and McLaurin? And I think I'd rather do that. So let's try it. Let's go with Hawkinson. Let's hope they only draft like 1, of course. So, so sort of correct with what happened. We do see 2 running backs go off the board. We see 2 wide receivers. It is McLaurin that ends up being drafted ahead. So unfortunately, we like outsmarted ourselves. Now we should probably just go with Chris Godwin. I guess that doesn't matter too much because they are very close to each other in the rankings. But yeah, we should take Chris Godwin with this pick. And then we should hope that quarterback okay, some quarterbacks go off the board, but not too bad. So I don't know if I mentioned the names before. Evans, McLaurin, Mixon, and Kenneth Walker come off the board. At our next one, we do see 1 tight end, which we don't care about. Kittle comes off the board. We see Fields and Herbert, 2 quarterbacks I love this season. They're both gone. And then basically split, running back, wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins, JSN, Christian Kirk, unfortunately, Mike Williams, Ayuk, Marquise Brown, Pittman, Addison going at 604, a little early there. Then wide receiver, Aaron Jones, Dobbins, Madison, Pierce, Sanders, Rashad White, and Pacheco. These are really, really accurate ADPs, by the way. So I feel like this is maybe the move is to put composite and then put your ranking on. But I would say like, let's pretend we're in like mid-August. You should like, instead of going to, let's say even ESPN League in mid-August, instead of going to ESPN and doing the draft lobbies there because people leave and they get auto picks and it takes forever, just throw in, go to Fantasy Pros, throw in only the ADPs for that site. I don't know how often they update. It's probably not super often, but it'll be at least an okay amount of time. Throw in those ADPs and draft off of that. But right now, I'd click composite just to get better values because like it was going to give us Derrick Henry as the 4th player. I mean, it ended up taking him in a full PPR league 5th, which isn't great. But overall, I would say this actually is very, very accurate for what you're going to see. So again, the team, McCaffrey, Barkley. We're not touching running back for a very, very long time. I love like the value in Cam Akers is really good right now. And so honestly, maybe looking back, what we should do in this one is we'll finish it off and then I'll go back in and I'll change that Saquon pick because that was really good value for Saquon. But because the 3 wide receiver league, what did it make us do? It'll auto-generate all the same picks, I believe, but we can see how the team would have changed had we taken T. Higgins. So we'll do that at the end. Let's finish off this draft. We'll substitute out Saquon and put T. Higgins in. Do the rest of the draft like how it would have happened for us. And let's see what happens there. Because maybe if I could have gotten Akers at 6'10", I'm thinking maybe that would have been a better build. But we will see. We'll see. So as I was saying before, quarterback's a big one for us here. But again, we have this luxury of these 2 teams have Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. It's still possible to take a quarterback, especially because it's a computer here. But if I'm in a draft right now, there is no way I would take I'm taking Trevor Lawrence with this pick. 'Cause I think Trevor Lawrence could have just a phenomenal season this year. Really on an upward trajectory. I think he's going to be awesome. But I'll take him at 703 because if one of those teams takes a quarterback, you know what? So be it. I'll end up taking Deshaun Watson. I'll get a little bit worse value, but you'll have taken 2 quarterbacks in one quarterback league in the top 6 or 7 rounds, and that team would just be hurt in the long run. But yeah, we'll wait. Again, Arlene is wide receiver, which is going to take the top-ranked wide receiver in the rankings. Curious who that is, actually. Yeah, I was thinking it might be Lockett. So I moved Lockett up in the rankings, I don't know, maybe like 3 days ago. I just feel like we always undervalue Lockett. I didn't take it. I took it a little bit away from JSN, but not too much. I think JSN's still a good pick. But Lockett's just like good every year. I think the offense is going to be very good. I think we just know that he's going to have like a strong role. It's going to be hurt by JSN being there, but JSN's also going to play a lot in the slot. Like Lockett's still going to be a very, very strong player to draft this season. And we're in the late 6th round. We just know he's going to be good. It just feels like a very, very, very safe pick to make. So we kind of moved him up a little bit in the rankings. Not to make him some like insane pick, but I guess I have him at 61 right now. That was at pick 70. So good value there. As we predicted, they did not go with their second quarterback. James Conner, Quentin Johnston, Cam Akers, and David Montgomery. All very good picks in that range. But we are going to go with Trevor Lawrence. We'll take, again, I don't know if I want to call him the end of that tier or Deshaun Watson the end of that tier, but this is the end of really, really good quarterback. And now we see Anthony Richardson and Deshaun Watson go after me. There's a drop-off. So if you're in a redraft league especially, at the end of this tier, you're waiting. Like if you missed out on these guys, you're probably taking too late and you're just waiting a little bit on like who the best value ends up being. I mean, I'd be fine with any of Dak, Daniel Jones, Cousins, Geno, Rodgers, Goff, Wilson, Stafford. Then you kind of get into like the Carr, Love, Pickett, Young, Kyler range that I don't love as much. I'd probably want 2 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 I just mentioned. But try and get the best value among them and don't be like the first to take them. But quarterback's done now. Trevor Lawrence is going to be awesome this year. Tight end's done. We have TJ Hawkinson. Running back, again, I just want to wait. I want to wait even longer. I want to keep attacking the wide receiver position. So we're not going to do that there. And also, I don't really love, you guys know I like Herbert. We talked about him on Friday. Full PPR, I don't like him as much. I mean, the options here like Brian Robinson, A.J. Dillon, Gibson, Herbert, Jamal Williams, Penny, Harris. None of that screams draft me, please, in a full PPR league. So we're waiting. Wide receiver. This is where we need to start thinking more about, just more about like potential. Also, I'm just taking a gander over here. We have bye week, 3 week 5 buys. Again, never pay attention to it. Yes, this is going to kill me in week 5. Like I'm probably going to lose week 5. Listen, I gain a small edge in every single other week. It's fine. We also don't know what's going to happen. What if like one of them gets injured and would have been hurt anyways? You know, like what if there's just something else that I can do in week 5 with my benches to where it's like, oh, you know, these 2 players broke out by that point and it would have actually been rotating them in instead of Lockett or instead of Godwin or something like that. Like you don't know what your team's going to be. You know a little bit more in week 5, but just unless like, you know, your first like 5 wide receivers are all week 5 and you're just taking a complete L in that week, it really doesn't matter. Don't play into it too much. So we want wide receiver. It's a long way of saying that. And we want to lean towards telling a story with how they can hit their ceiling. In this range, like projections are great. And if someone's like way higher projected than everyone else, do it. In general, we're going to start to get into a range where it's like, you know, everyone's kind of projected for like similar amounts of points. It's what do you think is going to play out this season? One thing I can see happening, let's just say with Courtland Sutton here, is honestly being traded away. I don't think it's going to happen, but that might actually be one of the better things that could happen to him. I think that Jerry Jeudy is locked in as their number 1 option. I think that Marvin Mims is a great player and going to be a great outside threat. I think that Tim Patrick is an underrated player. He's very good. Sutton is basically like they're trying to teach him like the slot. Like they're just kind of trying to get him on the field at this point because I think they view these other wide receivers as very good. I don't know. I think he'd be traded away. So there's some upside there. He's also just not a player that I've been like really in love with. But I guess that's the upside is if he kind of takes over that slot role. I would say in this range, though, Michael Thomas makes the most sense. You could argue that Rashad Bateman, but again, in a full PPR league, if someone's hitting their ceiling, like, yeah, Michael Thomas could end up, especially early in the year, even if I'm just trying to figure out who that like number 4 option is for me. Like Michael Thomas could rack up, 6, 7, 8 receptions at times in these games, just being like a short area target. And that's totally fine in the flex of a format that's got more starters like this. So I think our best move is to take Michael Thomas. And for those of you who are worried about the buy, says week 11 buy, we're good there. Is that the short turn? Awesome. That was a short turn. And running backs go. So that's great. So Zay Flowers comes off the board. But other than that, it was A.J. Dillon, Devon A-Chain, and Brian Robinson. So that's good. You probably want to grab another wide receiver here. I feel like among the options, again, Sutton, Juju, Bateman, Myers, Rondale, Mooney, Lazard. Among all of those players, Sutton, Juju, Bateman. I feel like those are the 3 you'd really be considering with this pick. I only hesitate on Bateman because it's like total volume. I know they're going to pass a lot more, but Mark Andrews, they're clear number 1. Flowers will be involved. Odell's going to be involved. They're still going to run the ball a ton. And so if I'm thinking of a reception ceiling for Bateman, it's probably not there. I prefer someone with a high reception ceiling, which is Sutton and Juju. I talked about Juju. Was it the Saturday video, I think, about like risers and fallers. Juju's falling right now by ADP. I think he can have a very strong role in the Patriots offense, especially if they don't sign DeAndre Hopkins. Like, he can have a lot more targets there. I think that potential signing is enough for me to say, let's just lean with Courtland Sutton. Maybe he gets traded. Maybe he takes over that slot role and gets more targets. I think there's just a better opportunity for Sutton to really produce ADP. So that's a lot of wide receivers now. Our team's starting to look better at wide receiver. We have Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas, Courtland Sutton. Definitely some risky players in there, but if we get enough of them, some of them are definitely going to work out. The long turn goes by, only 2 at quarterback, Darren Waller at tight end, and then, I don't know, a lot of the wide receivers we just mentioned that were on the board come off the board, and the same running backs as well. No real surprises. McKinnon's a surprise in that range, I guess. But other than that, I don't know. It's kind of the people that you would kind of figure would come off the board. So we're sitting here. We've got 6 more bench spots, and then we will take our defense. We only have the 2 running backs. We are starting to now get into the spot where we got our 5 wide receivers. We've kind of hit that really well. We should definitely be considering running back coming up here. So who are some pass catchers we can consider? Well, definitely not anyone at the top of this list. I guess Devin Singletary a little bit. But basically, it'd be Singletary, Gainwell. Jerome Ford maybe, but probably not with this pick. Tank Bigsby for sure. I wonder if we should double dip here. Maybe Roshan gets a little bit. Maybe Pierre Strong mixes in a little bit. Tyjae Spears will want as someone later. But I would say if we're looking at pass catching roles, the most likely here are Kenneth Gainwell and Tank Bigsby. We're not going to take Bigsby with this pick. I'm wondering what the best move is because we want to still mix in some wide receivers. So let's just mark off the players that we want as well over here. I guess Rondale in a full PPR league would be good. Rondale, Nico, DPJ, Dobbs, Sky Moore, Michael Gallup. Other than that, Van, Paris Campbell. And then like your really late options, Mingo, Tim Patrick very late if we could get him. Maybe Jaden Reed. That's what I'd be looking at. Mims is probably just like completely buried because I guarantee ESPN doesn't even like have him listed there. Mims super late as well. So if we look at this general range, I guess it's more likely that wide receivers will come off the board before next pick, some ones that we want, but we can't get too long. Like McCaffrey and Barkley are great options for us. We're opening ourselves up to a little bit of risk by waiting too long at the running back position. So I think we should lock one of them up because if we like double dipped at wide receiver, like now we're going a really long ways. If we lose out on some of these running backs, it's not going to be great for us. I think I want to take Gainwell. I know it feels early, but in a full PPR league, I think he can help us just be a player that can just mix in for production. My hesitation is that if he's way down here, he's at 142. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take Rondell Moore to start off with. I don't think this team over here is taking running backs. Yeah, they took one. They took Jeff Wilson. They took Boyd, Sky Moore, and Gallup. I was afraid too many wide receivers come off the board. I think if we don't take a wide receiver here, Nico, DPJ, and Dobbs will be gone. But I think we'll be left with this range, which will be fine. And we do need to probably draft like 3 more running backs. So my hope is we play ADP game. We take Singletary with the first one. And if we're lucky enough, we could go Singletary, then Gainwell, then Tank Bigsby. That would be a really, really nice trio to get. And then maybe we'd honestly take one more running back, but we'll just see who's on the board after that. So that's the hope. Let's see what ends up happening. Oh, no. It looks like our dreams are going to be crushed. Singletary, we take. Gainwell gets taken in the 11th round as well. Tank Bigsby goes in round 12. Jerome Ford also goes in round 12. Roshan goes in round 12. So a lot of them are off the board. Dobbs is gone. Mingo's gone. Jane Reed is gone. Nico Collins goes 1 pick before us. So that's just not great. Okay. Among the running backs we selected before, Tajay and Pierre Strong are the only 2 left for us. Wow. That's tough. Well, should we just take Tajay Spears? I mean, we're probably in a range where that makes a little bit of sense for us to do. Because if we don't, and they take running back Strong here, I mean, what are we going to do if we don't get Tajay? At least he's going to mix in a little bit, and he's got that upside if, Derrick Henry were ever get injured. But our running backs are just cooked right now. But yeah, I feel like we have to. I feel like we have to just take him, secure one, probably have to take another one. Because again, I think we can get wide receiver later on. There'll be someone else. We could even draft like Puka. We could do Puka and Marvin Mims with the last 2 picks. That would be totally fine to do. Who's the highest upside running back in this range? Actually, we should probably just go with Zeke. That probably makes the most sense. Because Zeke is going to be signed somewhere. He's going to have a role. It's not going to be a massive role, but he's going to be signed somewhere. You can even go back to Dallas if they'll kind of have him back. Yeah, I think we should take Zeke. He's going to go somewhere. The question here, I would say in the next round, 14, I think we should take another running back because we didn't take fantastic options. There is a world where Saquon gets injured, Zeke doesn't sign, and now we're rotating between Devin Singletary and Spears. Now, again, this is a redraft league, so I can make trades. I can pick people up off free agency, and I don't only need to start 2 of them each week, so that's fine. And we definitely are relying on Saquon and McCaffrey to be that workhorse there. But we should take another running back. I'm wondering if we just go team free agent. In a build like this, why not take a risk on Kareem Hunt in this range? Saying, okay, well, Kareem Hunt's also probably going to be signed. He'll probably be used more as a receiving back. Is it better to do that or to take Zamir White and hope that Jacobs holds out, or Joshua Kelly and hope that Eckler gets injured, Chase Edmonds and hope that he beats out Rachaad White? That's not going to happen. You got to tell a story with some of the picks this late. And I don't love many of the stories I'm seeing. I guess Ty Chandler would probably be another one you could go after, but I think the story with Kareem Hunt is just simple. He signed somewhere. So we're hoping the Kareem Hunt or Zeke signs somewhere. We'll take those 2. And then, Marvin Mims does come off the board. How about that? Then I would take Paris Campbell, PPR league. No, I would probably take Van. Yeah, I would take Van Jefferson. Better role on a better team as well. Better passing offense. And then we will go with the Saints, as we always do. Decent draft. I think it's worth way less than what they're giving me for the 94. And again, I want to go back real quickly and just see what would have happened had we not taken Saquon. But here's the lineup for now. Trevor Lawrence. We've got McCaffrey and Saquon at running back to start off with. Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Hawkinson, Michael Thomas, and the Saints. It's a very, very good starting lineup. Very good. It's just very risky if people get injured. Bench, Sutton, Rondell Moore, Singletary, Spears, Zeke Hunt, and Van Jefferson. So I do actually like it to a degree because it's a very high upside team. What I want to see, though, will it let us redo that pick? And then hopefully we can just buzz through and remember what we would have done with all of those. Why is this over there? Okay. So instead of the Saquon pick, we were going to go with T. Higgins. We were going to say it's a 3-wide receiver league. We can't wait too long. After that, okay, well, let's just pretend that Saquon wouldn't have been there at our next pick because obviously we would have preferred to go with T. Higgins and then Saquon and then nothing would have changed. So let's just pretend he's gone, and I guess we'll hurt ourselves a little bit because we could have taken Keenan Allen or Debo there. But let's go with Amari Cooper. Let's start building out our wide receiver core. In the next round, I feel like I should have screenshot and see what we did. I believe we took Hawkinson with this pick, right? We took Hawkinson, and then we took Chris Godwin, and we were building out a hero RB team. We did not want to go after that. We did not want to go with Trevor Lawrence yet. This was when we thought we could do Cam Akers. Okay, I remember everything now. Then we go with Trevor Lawrence. Wonderful. And then we go with Cortland Sutton. And then, or did I go with Michael Thomas? I think it was Michael Thomas at this next pick. We went with, oh no, I'm going to forget now. We went with a running back at some point. Who was our second running back? I think our second running back was in this range. I think we waited. I feel like a wide receiver. Oh, we took Rondell and he ended up not being there at our next pick. Okay, so we'll take a wide receiver. Let's just take Nico. I want to see how the draft would have come out, kind of doing the same general build. Honestly, at this pick, had we done that, we probably would have gone with Gainwell. We probably would have gone with DPJ here. And then we would have gone with Zeke. And then Kareem Hunt. And then a wide receiver late. It looks like Van is still on the board. Okay. I feel like we did close to what would have ended up happening. And then still the Saints defense. What grade does that give us? 83. So a much, much worse grade. Yeah, I probably should have screenshotted exactly what that team was so we could see it. But the main difference was we subbed out Saquon here to put in Cam Akers. And then basically T. Higgins. Honestly, maybe we did do it right. Because, yeah, thinking about it, we would have had McCaffrey and Saquon instead of McCaffrey and Cam Akers. Big difference there. And a wide receiver, we're not even that much stronger. We would have had Keenan Allen, Cooper, Godwin, and Sutton, and now we just upgraded to T. Higgins. We got maybe slightly stronger, but not that much of a difference. I think it helped us a little bit later on because we were able to grab Gainwell. But the running backs, honestly, aren't even that different. So, you know what? What I thought was a mistake at the beginning turns out to actually have been a really good decision, starting off McCaffrey, then Saquon, completely abandoning for a while. It's a risky strategy, but if those two hit and they're giving you, 25 to 27 fantasy points each week in full PPR scoring, and you don't need those other running backs to work out. So that'll do it for this week's Mock Draft Monday. Tomorrow we're going to be live 6:30 Eastern to do a weekly. I forget what it's actually called. The WW, the new Underdog drafts. We're going to be doing weekly winners. That's what it's called. We're going to do a weekly winners draft live. Answer any questions you guys have. Again, like I said, Wednesday is going to be optimal strategy from a mid first round pick. And Thursday will be a player breakdown. If you want to throw it in the comment section of this one, do so. I'll probably look at the last video, what's most upvoted there. That, my friends, is the end of this one. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, how about hitting the like button and how about subscribing to the channel if you're new here. Thanks for watching.